Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm not actually going out and about. Instead, I'm here in my room going to give you some tips on how you can go around and travel around Europe. Whether you live here or you just happen to be visiting. And I guess these conclude UK as well because they are there even though they're no longer part of the EU because Brexit happened. So first of all, I'm going to give you some tips on how to get around Europe easily and on a budget, because that's the first thing you need to do is get around everywhere. And this video will mainly focus on short haul trips for those who are just going on a weekend or only here for a few days or less than a week or so. But if you want to see more about this kind of series, maybe a video on maybe doing long haul trips or somewhere other than Europe, let me know in the comments down below because I'd love to hear you guys' opinions and your feedback because this is a new series for me. Yeah, so let's start with a scenario. Let's say you want to go out on a little weekend trip. Say you live in London and you want to come down to, I don't know, either here in South France or let's say for example Rome. For example, you want to go out to Rome and you feel like you're in there. How do you get there? So first of all, you could do the crazy thing or drive or either take the train down, which would be quite a long way, I'd say. So that's probably not the best option. But I'd say the best option is either flying, and the best way to fly on a budget is with, well, a budget airline. So the two major budget airlines in Europe are EasyJet and Ryanair. And yes, I did pull out model planes of them just to represent them, but I thought that was just the funniest way to do it. So see ya. So whereas a British Airways flight from London to Rome would take you there for about 150, 200 pounds each way. Well, that's probably exaggerating a bit more, but you get the point. You get there on Ryanair for less than 10 euros each way. So call it the price of a nice McDonald's meal in your local chippy, and you got yourself a whole weekend in Europe. What else can I say? But a lot of people say that things like, I don't like Ryanair, they're too cramped, they're not very good. I prefer bigger airlines and like British Airways and France, they're all safer and they've got nice food, blah blah blah. Now as far as the first argument that goes, I completely disagree because the low cost airlines, they have some of the youngest fleets in the old industry. As far as the second point of food and comfort, honestly, you just treat it like you treat a bus really. Just you're going from A to B. You're not really there on this. You're not going on budget airlines just to go have a nice fancy meal with caviar like you get on, say, Emirates. Wink, wink, in case you noticed that much. But yeah, you just have to have a seat and be hurtled through the air at 500 miles an hour and just get there as cheap as possible, because the money you save on the route flying, you gain on the actual experience and actual being in the actual place where you want to go. But if you really do want to go on budget airlines or even just go on these, try them out for the first time, here's some really good tips that might help you get the most out of them or have a better experience with them. Tip number one, book in advance. Now I know this is throwing out a lot, but to be honest, the further out you book with these guys, the prices are just down by a mile. I mean, if you look at the graph of prices of flights these days, you'll mostly see it go, it's about that small, but then the first you go up, 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 and then as soon as it hits near the date line, it goes skyrockets. So book nice and early in advance, and also try and avoid booking on weekends or around weekends, say like between like Thursday and Saturday, because more often than not, I found out from personal experience, the prices are just jacked up because they know that people are frantically trying to buy their flights when they're off work or they're about to go off work, and they might be more interested in a buying sort of mindset. Also, if you ever use sites like Expedia or Kayak or whatever, like those travel online travel agencies, clear your cookies or even use private browsing or incognito mode in the browser, because they will try and sneak in their little devilish cookies and try and say, "Oh, would you like this flight? Oh, it will cost you. We saw you're interested. It will cost you a little bit more if you want it, because sorry, it's going to be gone." Not really gone, guys. You just need to pretend that you're someone new and just act like you're never been there, and they'll treat you like a normal person. They'll not try and track you. Or better yet, don't use online travel agencies, and I'll explain that more later on. Tip number two, I'd say, is if you can be flexible, because it will yield much cheaper fares on your routes. I find that, me personally, I am not as flexible as most people, because I was always dependent when I went on my trips to go on the weekends and at certain times and certain days, etc. So if you can be flexible, take advantage of that and you'll find yourself save a lot more money that way. Another tip I'd say is minimize your luggage. Minimize. I can't say that enough, because the more you take, honestly, it's the more you're going to carry around with you, the more of a fact it's going to be, and the more you're going to pay in terms of luggage fees. So in that spirit, I'd say stick to carry on early, because you will really thank yourself. And also, if preferable, I'd say get a backpack, because then you can not have to roll around everywhere, and in the city where it can be a bit sketchy, you never know what happens, because more often than not tourists get targeted by someone who's not as kind as they might seem, and if it's on your back, you can make it more discreet. The more discreet it is, the more likely it's going to turn a blind eye. So this is my bag. This is my Targus TSB 700. I featured this once in my What's in My Tech channel bag. You can find that in a little card up there. So yeah, basically I love this a lot, because this is not only the backpack, but also, see that, nice little roller wheels. So that way I can have a little trick actually. I have found through flying probably like a dozen flights throughout the year, that airline staff, and I hope anyone who's who does work in the industry, please don't let this trick ruin this, because I love this. Airline staff are less likely to have a go at you for your luggage if it's a backpack versus a roller. Let me explain. So I fly KLM. They have a little regional city hopper jet, which they take to go from Nice to Amsterdam. So I go to the gates, I present my boarding pass. I notice as I'm coming in, a bunch of other people have their roller bags, and they're being collected, and they're being tagged by the staff. So thinking, hello, what's going on here? Because I'm a bit of a plane geek, and I know what the techniques they do. So they put in all these pink tags to say, put this in the hull please, that way we don't have to, it can't squash us into, we have enough room in the cabin. So I go off my technique of, whenever I go near the gate, I go off a little bit off to the side, and then I go like this, I fold this down, and then it comes into the backpack, and then, lo and behold, I go in front of the staff with a backpack. One of the staff members comes up with a tag saying, boss, can we get this guy on? And he's like, the boss is like, you kidding me? No. What? No way. Now we're going to be tagging backpacks now? Nah, it's fine. And then they let me on. Lo and behold, they let me on without a tag. And let me on, even though my bag was way overweight. I'd say their limit's probably like 7. I was probably like 12. Never checked the weight. Never checked the size, even though it barely fits on the KLM's jets and mini jets. And it's a pain to get them squashed in, I will say that. And yeah, it works. And same thing with Ryanair and EasyJets. I roll up all around the airport, but as soon as I get near the gate or they're about to board, flip it up, turn it to something more discreet, turns absolute blind eye to all the staff. It might not work all the time for you guys, but it works for me, and I'd say that's a really good tip, I'd say. The next thing I'd give you tips on is accommodation, because that's another big expense that you and your party will spend on the actual trip itself. And I'd say one way to save it is, whether you like it or not, the best way to save it is go to stay in places like either small chain or non-chained hotels, or better yet, stay in a youth hostel. Now, while the name says youth in it, it's not just for people, it's for all ages. I've been to hostels all over Europe, and you see people from all walks of life and all ages, all whatever, and yeah, and you save a ton on it. For example, the other day I looked up, there were hostels in, say, Bucharest in Romania, which is one place I'm looking at as a very interesting place to visit. To stay there for a whole weekend, €10. That's less than it would cost just for, I'd say, that's half your flight cost on Ryanair, say. So the next thing I want to talk about is getting around wherever it is you're staying, whether it's a city or just where in general. Now, one option could be you can rent a car if you want to go a bit further outside the way. If it's a city you're staying, you want to go out in the fields, that's fine. But I'd say avoid this if you're under 25, because you'll get hit with a daily young driver fee, and to be honest, it's not worth it at all. To give you context, like one time I was looking at a weekend for London, say for example Summer City, and I had an extra day. I looked for going to Brighton instead of the London vlog you saw, it would have cost me €300 just for one day. Whereas what someone over 25 gets the same, for the exact same car, exact same everything, like a third of that price. I don't see what the difference should be. It should be absolutely nil, but hey. Another option, if you're staying in the city, is and it's the best option, use public transport. You'll thank me for it, because it's the easiest thing to do to get around, and honestly, it's just much more cost effective. So the best way to work out how to get around, especially with public transport, is an app called City Mapper. So this app only works in certain cities, but you can see if it works out for you in terms of where you're going. And then it gives you essentially turn-by-turn navigation within wherever you go on whatever system you need to. So then in this video, I'm actually going to give you guys a little sort of step-by-step process of how I personally go through planning and booking a trip, and my ways of making it as cheap, cost effective as possible. So for me, planning a trip, I start off usually using this very useful site I use all the time, partly because I'm a Plane Geek, partly because it's really useful. It's the site info.flightmapper.net. This site shows you all the schedules and all the routes that all the different airlines use throughout the world, and it's basically just you're A to Z of all the different airlines. So say you live in London and you want to know where Ryanair, where EasyJet go from your local airport, and you'll be able to see on this site where the route is, what days they fly, what times they fly, what times of the year does that flight actually go, or does it stop at certain points for like summer flights. So for example, here in Nice, we only get some flights that come in the summer, and then they don't come during the winter. So that's one example. And then you can find out if that works for you. And then you can see cross-reference that data. So you take that info from info.flightmapper.net, no pun intended, and then you take that and you use that to help you book your flights. So for booking the flights, I actually don't use Expedia, I don't use Kayak or Skyscanner or any of those flights. I used to use Skyscanner a while back, but now I solely use Google Flights because I find it to be the easiest to use. It's also got a really cool Discover feature, which gives you a map of the world, and you can find out what places you can go at a certain budget with certain criteria. Yeah, it does that, and also it's just plain simple. And the best part of it is, instead of going through their own system to pay for it, you actually go straight to the airlines, which is honestly, I'd say when you're booking flights, book with the airlines. You'll thank me a million times over. The reason being is that if you ever have a problem, which is not something you want to happen, but if it does happen, you'll be grateful you did this. If you book through the airline, you'll have way less hassle than you will with the OTAs or online travel agencies, because when they say that, so let's say you're on a British Airways flight from, I don't know, Paris to London, and you're trying to get home, you've got work in the morning. If BA cancels their flight and they have no other, and you have to rebook it, if you book it through Expedia or any of those OTAs, I'm going to refer to them as, you are often sent through a circling, never-ending loop of back to forth. Like BA will tell you, you've got to go to Expedia. No, you've got to go to BA, and then back, forth. Whereas if you book with straight to the airline, you can just go straight to ITS, no problem. Like that, you can be first rebooked. Not disregarding the queues and all that stuff, but yeah, that's beside the point. So yeah, basically I prefer working straight with the airlines, that way I can get straight access to them, and also on the side I get frequent miles. That'll be another topic again later on in another video. So yeah, that's the first thing. So now you've booked your flights and you've chosen your destination, so you're all ready to go. Now you need to find where to stay. So for me personally, for the majority of my bookings, I go through booking.com. I'm not affiliated, just full disclosure, I'm not affiliated with them. I know just really enjoy the service they have and a few other tricks they have. I will go over further details in the next video. So basically booking.com, they are just like all the others, like hotel.com, there's a million other sites like them, and I just like the fact the main thing I like about them is paying later, so you can book your accommodation on the spot, but you won't have to pay for it till you get there, which means that if you don't have the budget right now, you can book it in the knowledge that you will have save enough for the booking, and then you can and also you're allowed to cancel up to 24 hours before the booking without any penalty at all, which has saved me a few times. And when I've had to switch, or if I find a better deal elsewhere, I can just cancel with them and go with someone else if I had to. So yeah, that's my tips on accommodation. And I just say go if you prefer another site, that's fine. You just use whatever you want. I just use them because mainly convenience, price, and the flexibility of being able to cancel at any time and not having to pay anything up front. So yeah, a few final words I'll say is, when you're trying to budget for something, take into account all the costs. Don't just think about just the flights and just the hotel and everything. You gotta also factor in, if you've only got like, let's say 200 euros for the whole thing, like literally that's all you saved up for that month's salary just for that trip, you have to factor in how much it's going to cost day to day on your, say, going around the city. How much is it going to cost for food? Food's one thing that people forget. Minimise restaurants. Touching on food, don't avoid. If you want to go to restaurants, that's fine. That's part of the experience. But if you want to save money, I hate to be frank, go to a supermarket. You'll have so much get so much more for your money than restaurants or fast food places, because they will, obviously if it's a tourist area, they will whack up the charges and make it more expensive. Even if you want to go to a restaurant but you don't want to pay for the whole meal, I'd say just get one course and then go to like for example, when I went to Rome, I actually just went into a little restaurant and ordered a lasagna. That was it. No drink, no dessert, nothing, just the food itself. Was a bit weird for them, but hey. And then I walked out and went off and get a nice ice cream from an ice cream parlour. Saved so much from that. So yeah, I'd say food is just factor in all the costs and just be thoughtful and be if you don't have any money at the end of the trip, then I'd say but you'll be stuck. You'll have to have no way of getting out. That's just how it is. But yeah, if you're thoughtful and you're not respectful, you're mindful of how much you're spending day to day and also in total, then you'll be able to have a really good time on a really good budget, on a small budget or even a tiny one. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up because I really appreciate it. This is my first time doing a sit down video in front of the camera. I will say the reason why I've never really done this before is because I have a bit of a, probably you can tell from this video, I talk quite fast and I have a bit of a stammer and I always stutter for it, and I've just never been really confident enough to sit in front of the camera and talk to you guys rather than just show you fancy footage. So I hope if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments down below. I really would like to make some more, but if you guys are really interested, I'll really give you motivation or inspire me to make more. And if you have a specific topic you want to talk about, again, tell me about it because I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. And if you have some tips of your own, also share them around because knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more you control. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.
Can't we just share a laugh?